Well, hey, coaches, welcome to week 6 of our devotions. I want to encourage you to read Luke chapter 10, verses 25 through 37 this week. The parable for this week is the parable of the Good Samaritan. This parable is a great reminder for us who live in a culture that is very self-centered and self-righteous. Now, when reading a parable, we must take time to realize who the characters are in a story to fully understand the impact that Jesus wants to make. In this parable, we have the following characters: a Jewish man who's traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho, a robber, a priest who is a highly religious leader who offered sacrifices to God on behalf of the people. This person also had to be ceremonial clean because they could not come in contact with certain things. And the fourth person is a Levite. Now, all the priests came from the Levites, but not all Levites were priests. Most Levites helped the tabernacle and took care of the things for the priests. They also interpreted the law and taught the law. And then we have the Samaritan. Samaritans were hated by Jews, and they were not allowed to worship with them. So knowing the background of all the characters, you can probably see where Jesus is going in this parable. The Jewish man, we're told, was robbed and beaten and left along the side of the road. The priest came along and saw the man, who was a Jew, and he represented that man before God, but he walked by him on the other side of the road. The Levite did the exact same thing. Neither religious man took time to offer help to the man who had been beaten and robbed. But a Samaritan man stopped to help the Jewish man. And not only did he tend to him on the ground and bandage his wounds, he took him to a hotel, paid for his stay, and while he rested, he promised if the hotel needed more money, he would pay them when he came back. Jesus told this parable and he asked, which of these three men was a neighbor to the injured man? The crowd correctly said, the one who showed mercy. Jesus agreed with their answer and told them, you go and do the same. So we live in a culture that promotes self over others. Sometimes it seems that if we're not affected directly, we don't really care, or at least we don't get involved. There are a lot of people around us who are hurting and in need. It's very easy to be like the priest or Levite and just walk right by them. But Jesus tells us to be like the Samaritan, offering compassion and helping them as we are able. Now, there's a lot of needs in this world, but the greatest need anyone has is Jesus. All the pains and hurts of this world, while they are real, are temporary, but a relationship with Jesus is eternal. I want to encourage you to tell your players, have compassion on people that they can help them whenever they can, but also remind them the greatest thing we can ever do is to tell somebody about Jesus. Here's some questions for your 4 through 7-year-old. How did a Samaritan show compassion to the hurt man, and how can we help others? 8 through 11-year divisions. Why do you think the first two men ignored the man who was robbed? And why would the Samaritan help someone who was his enemy? For the oldest division, 12 through 14, you may want to ask, why is it hard for us to help people who are different than us? Or, what do you think would happen if we treated everyone like Jesus tells us to do? It's an awesome parable. Have a great week of practice, coaches, and thank you for all that you do.